Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's me, Michelle. So today I'm going to go over how I do my book studies with you guys. I'll also probably do one on how I study the Bible as well, but right now we're just going to go over the book study. So some of the things I grabbed is sticky notes, and I'm actually almost out of these. These are shaped like books. They came with one of my faith planners from the Happy Planner. And then I just have this Sharpie marker. I have a couple of highlighters. These are mild liners, my favorite highlighters. And I got these for like $2 or $3 from Family Dollars. They're the dual tip pens. And I really only use the small end of it because those are, I like to write with small felt tip liners. And so, I mean pens. So when I grab like something like this, I have some other ones too that I can use, or I'll just grab some regular pens in different colors, and like I'll just go into my book planner, and like I'll grab paper out of my book planner, and I'll just talk about my book planner real quick since we're already here. So my book planner is where I go and kind of, well, that's what it's being used for this year. I'm going to use something different. So once every year, I just clean it out and write down all the books that I've read and like give synopsis and stuff. I read The Art of War probably every year, every other year. So I just go through books I've read. Sometimes I add stickers, sometimes I don't, and give synopsis and plots, themes, and stuff like that of the books that I've read. Some of the books are kind of new agey and I don't like them, but I read them, so I put them in here. And I still have some books that I've read recently that I really need to add in here. And I read The Richest Man in Babylon every year too. And so I read The Whitewashing of Christianity, Urban Apologetics, and Geronimo. Those three books that I read are not in here. I'm actually reading Americana right now. I read quite a bit throughout the year. So I guess things fall apart. The last book I've updated in here. So I need to, I know why I haven't put Urban Apologetics in there, because I have so much I want to write down for the things that I've learned from that book. Geronimo, I just got done finished reading because I just started Americana today. Geronimo and The Whitewashing of Christianity. I just got done finishing that book like right before Geronimo. So those are why those aren't in there. So and I've read Black Church and Power. I don't have a lot of notes on it in here because I actually studied for chapter 6. Well, I didn't really study for it. I just wrote down kind of like what I wanted my notes to be for it. So I don't, like, that's in my faith planner. So I'll just grab some paper from out of here. And like just miscellaneous stuff, I just keep in like notes of it in here. So I just have some different kinds of paper, and I'll just grab some paper from here. But I do have a piece of paper already in here, but I'll typically just grab some paper. And so we're on chapter 8. So what I'll do is I will put what it is that I am reading. So in any color, doesn't matter. So biblical theology, and we're on chapter 8. The story of the Gospels. So I just put like my header there of what book it is. So the next thing I do is I'll go through and I'll read through the chapter. And so as I read through the chapter, which is why I have my sticky notes, I don't like highlighting in my books and writing in my books and stuff like that. So I'll grab my sticky notes. So just for instance, as mentioned in chapter 2, the Gospels were composed, quickly gathered together, and circulated as a fourfold grouping. The most well-established order of these 4 books is Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Although a few later manuscript groupings order them Matthew, John, Luke, Mark, perhaps to keep Matthew and John together at the front as apostles, and Luke and Mark afterwards as servants of the word. Collectively, these 4 books shape the way the story and identity of Jesus the Messiah is understood. So the information about the well-established order of these 4 books is Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. So that's something that I would like to remember. So what I would do is put it here where it goes, like where the sentence structure starts, and then I would just either underline it, which because I can still see through it, like underline the start of the sentence that I want, and then kind of like underline where I want it to stop. Or you can just highlight in your book, or if you want to do like me, you can highlight the sticky note. That way you know what portion is that you want to actually put in here or put for your notes. So that's what I do there. And and then I just go through, read the whole chapter. And after I read the whole chapter, then I will go and I will pick a color. And this is why I have multiple colors. Then I'll pick a color. So I will use purple. And for instance, it could be any color. And I will just write down everything I remember from the chapter. Matthew, John, apostles. So some versions list them first. Mark and Luke, servants. So list them second. So I'll just put that down as something I remember. Then I'll go back and see where I marked what I feel is important. So after I go back, see what I marked, see if I forgot something. Let's see here. The most well-established order of these 4 books is Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. So then I will just put in a different color, and this is why I use multiple colors. Then in a different color, I'll just go in and I'll put most well-established order of these 4 books, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And that way I'll know that these is something I need to look into. Most established order is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And so that way I can know what I actually remember and then what I didn't remember. And then I know what to study the most. So that way I can have that added to my memory. And I know this probably seems like a lot, but this is what helps me to know what I know and to know what I don't know, because I need to know what I don't know in order for me to have the knowledge and information and understand it. So that's what I typically do. This is how I study. So I'll just go through, read it, put sticky notes where things I want to remember, underline it, or just highlight to the part where I want it to be. If it's more than one section, I'll know because I'll stop the highlighting or stop the portion and then start highlighting another portion that's connected to the same like area, the sticky note. But this is why I do it this way. So once I read it, I can say, hey, this is an overview of everything that I remember. This is the parts that I don't remember. I need to study this a little bit more. And if it has questions in the book, see, it's chapter 9. So like this book has questions in the back. So I'll go through and I'll answer the questions. After I read the question, I'll try to answer in my mind. And if I feel like I'm struggling with answering this question, then I will go in and I will put this as another color. So like I'll just choose like one of these colors that I didn't use previously. And then if it's something I know, I'll put a different color so I know like I'm comfortable with this question. If I'm not comfortable with the question, I will go in and then I know to like go and read the portions that go with this question to have a better understanding. And I also can look and see like, oh, well, the part that go with this question, I have it in this color. So it's something that I wasn't like, it didn't strike me to remember it. So I know that I really need to study and look to see how better to remember this part of it. Again, that's way I know what I don't know because I have it here on my paper and I can see what I know, what I remember, what stuck out to me, what I don't know, what I don't remember, what didn't stick out to me, and how I can study that. And then answering the questions, I can see what else I need to really, really pay attention to in my study, because that for some reason really is not sticking out to me. So that is how I do my book studies when I study things like biblical theology. Um, we're going to do some other books, but when I read and study books like this is how I read and study books like these, and this is how I can pick up a lot of information at one time to remember a lot of information. And honestly, I know it seems like a lot, but it probably takes me all of like an hour to read the chapter, take my notes, review the information, and make sure I know what I know and answer the questions. Hour and a half at the most, which that's really not a lot. It's an investment in your knowledge to be biblically and theologically sound. And you don't have to, and like I do this with regular books too. Like if it's a book that I have to know for school, and if it's not like a theological book, I still kind of do the same thing to make sure I know the information that I'm reading. And this is how I just study, again, in general, to make sure I know information that I'm reading. That way it's sticking with me, and that way I won't just know the information for tests. I'll actually retain and have the information for myself. My twin Shawnee, she can read anything and never had to take a note and remember everything that she just read. I'm not blessed with that. So you're like me, you have to actually put a little bit more work into it. And I mess with her a lot because she's one of the smartest people I ever met. I mess with her a lot because that's what she do. She'll be like, "Oh, I heard this one time, and now I know everything about it." And I'm like, "I gotta read this a couple more times," but that's how I study. That's how I learn. And again, that's another reason why when I read books, I also take notes on what I've read so I can retain the information that I have gathered from the books that I've read. And I try to take breaks even when I read regular books too. I read a lot throughout the year, like a lot, a lot, a lot. But that's how I like gather the information, retain it, and kind of able to have conversations when the books and stuff come up, because that's even what I do with that, so I can know. Again, you don't know what you don't know, and if you're not taking notes or properly studying, then you don't know if you don't know it, and you think you know it and you think you retained it when you have it. Some other tips that I also have is if I sit down to read and my mind wanders, one thing that you can do is to just grab a planner, or if you don't have a planner, a sticky note, anything, and just do a quick brain dump. So I can grab one of my planners and I just go to I just go to a notes page or something, and then like whatever's on my mind at the time, write all of it out onto on my planner or a page or notes paper or something like that. Write it all out, get it out your head, so that way your mind won't be clouded, and it won't be so hard for you to actually study the information or study what you need to study. You can just go ahead and write it all out. And once you get it all out your mind, then you should be able to concentrate better. If you still can't concentrate after that, I would suggest to get up, do something for like 10-15 minutes that is causing you to not be able to focus, or pray. Like I pray before I read like the Bible and read books and stuff like this, just as a general rule. But just pray. If it's something that you're worried about, like you don't have no control over, at that point just pray, because that can go in any aspect of our life. We sit down to do our work and things are on our mind. So even when I sit down to do work, if I can't focus, I'll do a quick brain dump of all the things that I'm trying to get off my mind, or I'll get up and like do something really quick to kind of help myself refocus onto what my actual task is. Get sleep, drink water, and some other things that help. I know that seems like just so just like that's what everybody should be doing. It is, but the importance of sleep is sometimes not valued as much as it should be. But sleeping is probably one of the biggest things that help me. I could tell when I haven't slept, I can't focus, concentrate, or do anything. So sleeping, drinking water, making sure your body's hydrated, because our brain needs water. Our body is 70% water. Our brain, our body needs water, and if it's dehydrated, that's also going to be an issue. And it might not be dehydrated to where you're going to be hospitalized, dehydration is still serious. So I would say drink water, focus, and also if things you can't control, give them to God. Move on. Don't let that hinder you, stop you from studying whatever you're trying to study. And again, it doesn't have to be a theological book or a biblical book. Just whatever you're reading or studying. If you're in school and you're getting a bachelor's or a master's or a CPA, whatever you're doing, um, these rules and steps still apply to those things, because if you can't concentrate and study and focus, you won't have the knowledge and information that you're trying to have. But I hope these tips help you guys. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave them down below. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will do one of how I study the Bible as well. It's a little different, but I'll do that video as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in another video. Peace.